My mom says to me, all right, well, since you're making more, then you need to be paying more. I was feeling some type of way about it, but I said, you know what? Yeah, she's right. I'll go ahead and pay a little bit more rent. You know, my success is her success. We're in this as a team. The very next raise I got, when I was making $850 per week, I will never, ever forget this conversation, man. Dude, this hurt me to my heart, gentlemen. Says you're paying $400 per month in rent. So I'm going to raise your rent from $400 a month about I would say 2.5, 3 months before I moved to Las Vegas. You guys know my story. Go back to Red Pill Origins Volume 2. Went through a really, really tough breakup with a girl by the name of Amy. You know, drugs were involved. She cheated. I thought I had STDs. I didn't. Basically kicked out of the state. You guys got to go back. You guys got to go back and listen to that. I don't want to rehash all that. But I ended up having to go to Atlanta. And for a little while, I lived with my mom. Now, when I first got there, I got a job. I had a job in less than a week. There was a mattress place right across the street from where she worked. So that was convenient for me. So I walked in there, you know, filled out an application. The guy looked at me, heard the way I talked. He looked at my experience, just surveyed. He said, when can he start? I said, well, I can start today. Long story short, I'm immediately on the staff. I'm the best sales guy. I'm the best mattress delivery guy, et cetera, et cetera. The rest is history. Anyway, this guy was paying me really, really good money. And when I first started, this guy was paying me $600 per week, cash under the table. 2 weeks later, he gave me a $150 raise. He started paying me $750 a week, guys. This was, listen, under the table. This was great money. 2 weeks after that, he gave me another $50 raise. He's given me $800 a week. A couple weeks after that, he gave me another $50 raise. $850 per week. With each raise, I'd come, you know, I was living with my mom at the time. I'd come home, I'd be like, yo, mom, like, you know, the boss gave me another raise, blah, 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 blah. Now, credit to my mom, when I first started living there, she said, listen, I'm going to let you stay here for free until you get on your feet, then you have to pay rent. Hey, no problem. Listen, I'm a grown man. I'll pay my own way, no problem. So that very first week, he actually paid me for a full week, $600. I said, all right, mom, I'm going to pay you $300 a month to rent this room. She said, no problem. That's more than enough. It was all good. So that very first paycheck, I got paid for half a week. I was only going to live there I had only been living with my mom for 2 weeks. I said, you know what? I'm going to give you a full month's rent now, and then I'm going to give you full month's rent at the beginning of the month. I mean, listen, you are letting me stay here. You did say, hey, until I get on your feet. Listen, it took me 3 days to get on my feet. Fair is fair. No problem. Hey, you know what? I appreciate it, Donovan. It was all good. So 2 weeks later, I tell her, all right, well, you know, I got a $150 raise. So then my mom said, so a week after that, before I got my second raise, my mom says to me, all right, well, since you're making more, then you need to be paying more, right? She says, all right, I know you're paying $300 per month, but since you're making $750 per week, I think it's only fair that you pay a little bit more in rent. I was feeling some type of way about it, but I said, you know what? Yeah, she's right. I'll go ahead and pay a little bit more rent. You know, my success is her success. We're in this as a team. You know, listen, she opened up her home to me, blah, 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 blah. No problem. No problem, mom. Gave her an extra $100, $400 per week, or $400 per month. The very next raise I got, when I was making $850 per week, I will never, ever forget this conversation, man. Dude, this hurt me to my heart, gentlemen. Hurt me to my heart. We're in the car, and we're on our way to work. I had to be there. She had to be there a lot earlier than I did. But I mean, she's my only ride. No problem. I'll hang around, drink coffee, hang out with mom at work till I got to go to work. Right? So she says to me, all right, Donovan. She says, you're making really good money, $850 per week. She says, you're paying $400 per month in rent. And in other rental places, man, you have to make at least 3 times the amount of your rent. Well, at $850 per week, I forget what the math is, 850, 17, you're making $3,400 a month around about. So I'm going to raise your rent from $400 a month to $1,000 a month. She says, you don't have to pay it all at once. Just pay me $250 per week. That's only fair. I said to her, I got to go. Dude, I was pissed. I couldn't show it. I said, nope, Mom, I said, I gotta go. I said, I'm not doing that. She's like, well, listen, if you don't like the rules, nobody is forcing you to be here. You don't have to be here if you don't want to pay the rent. She gave me the out, right? So at that point, I knew that I only had a couple of days. Now, again, remember, we're talking about my mother here, and there's a lot of backstory to this, but for the sake of time, I'm going to spare you guys the details. I'm going to spare you guys the details of our childhood and all this other kind of stuff. This is a woman who left me and my brothers and sisters with our incapable father so that she could chase a bad boy in Detroit. Like, this is what happened. She left us to pursue a bad boy. That didn't work out, so then she sent for us in North Carolina, then acted like she was the world's greatest mother, conquering hero. We were teenagers. We weren't having it. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. I might actually do a podcast on that. I love my mom. I do. And I didn't fully forgive her until I found the grew up a little bit, because at some point you have to understand that parents are people too. I love my mom. I'm always going to love her. That's just how it is. But parents are every bit as flawed. They have all the frailties. They have all of the flaws that regular people do. This is just how they are. But anyway, so I'm sitting in the car. I'm like, I got to go. So then my mom literally tells me in no uncertain terms, well, then get the fuck out. She says, well, listen, Donovan, if you can't or won't pay the rent, then you don't have to be here. She says, I'll give you a couple of days to get your affairs in order, and then you can go find a place of your own. Okay? My mom did not realize that I was really going to do this. So I called up my sister, who lived in Buckhead. Okay? My mom lived in Clayton County. She lived in Morrow, Georgia. Dude, Clayton County is the armpit of Atlanta. Worst place anyone can ever think of. My sister lived in Buckhead, the nicest area of Atlanta, right out there towards Midtown. You guys out there in the 401, 678, and the 770, you guys know what I'm talking about. My sister lived out there in Buckhead. I gave her a call. I said, Mom is acting stupid. Of course, my sister says, yep, I know. She's known to do that. And my sister have a very hot and cold, on-again, off-again relationship. I said, look, I just paid Mom rent. I said, I can pay you. I told her I'll pay you $500 a month if I can just sleep on your couch. She said, yeah, that's fair. No problem. Right? I don't mind paying her a little bit more because, of course, she lived in Buckhead, and the apartment building that we were living in had stores on the bottom. It was wonderful. So what I did, packed all, right, that night, had a guy that I work with come and pick me up early in the morning. I moved out without my mom even knowing. She told me, hey, listen, if you don't want to pay the rent, then you don't have to be here. So I got out. Right? So a few hours later, I'm at work. My mom drives to my job. She drives to my job. And she says, she gets out of the car. She's like, all right, Donovan, I can see that you have left. She says, I didn't expect you to do this. I have to be honest with you. And I told her, I said, yeah, well, I did. She says, all right, well, I'll tell you what. She's like, if you just pay me $1,000 right now, we're square and done. I said to her, no. I said, you need to leave. I said this to my mom. I said, no. I said, get out of here. I was pissed the off, man. You're sitting here trying to price gouge your own son, man. Dude, I was pissed and I was hurt behind that, man. Like, dude, it even hurts talking about it now, because that's just not something you do to your kid. Like, it's not. I was 32, 33 years old at the time, but still, like, what are you doing? Like, I just came out of a bad situation, right? I paid you I paid you 2 weeks worth of rent. I hadn't even stayed there yet. But every time I got a raise, you want to give yourself a raise. No, that and you. I said no. She turned around and left, right? She then calls my boss and airs out our dirty laundry. Now that's neither here nor there. But she called me later that night and she says, Donovan, I really feel like you did me wrong. I said, Mom, I need to hang up the phone because I'm going to say some disrespect. She said, Donovan, but I'm your mother. I said, yeah, Mom, but I'm your son. And I hung up on her. I didn't talk to her for 2 months after that. She actually called me 2 months later. I'm on a delivery, dude. I'm right there at Spaghetti Junction, right where 20 and 85 and Highway 75 meets in Atlanta. Spaghetti Junction. You guys know about that. I'm sitting in traffic with my delivery partner, Jeff. We're sitting there, eating hot dogs, potato chips, listening to whatever. My mom calls. I didn't pick up the phone, right? So she sends me a text. Hey, listen, just wanted to let you know that I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. This is the deal, guys. My mom, anytime a mother has to play the mom card, that means she wasn't a good mom, guys. This is just how it is. If you're in a position to, if your mother thinks that she owes you something, or that you owe her something, or that you're in a position where you have to give her something, and she says, but Donovan, I'm your mother, that's when you know, you know what? You were not a good mom. My mom was my mother, and there's a difference between a mother and a mom, okay? You guys got to check out that episode as well, donovansharpe.com. Okay? My mother was an excellent mom all the way up until she decided to leave us for the crackhead ass nigga up in Detroit. Right? She flew from Hawaii to Detroit with this retired Army crackhead. Me and my brothers and sisters and our incapable, neglectful father moved from Hawaii to Oklahoma. It was terrible. Right? My mom even came down and lived with us for a little while because she was going through it with Brandon. She ended up flying right back because, of course, you know how it is. Right? So this is what happened. My mother made selfish decisions at the most critical times of our lives. But then she wants to say, but I'm your mother. Yeah, that's right. You are my mother, but you were not a very good mom. And I am not about to let you, I don't care how good a mother you are, or you were. I'm not going to let you price gouge me. Here's the thing. If she's a good mom, she's not going to try to price gouge you. A lot of these professional athletes, when they get to the league or whatever, the first thing they do, they buy a car or a house for their mom. How many of those guys do that reluctantly? How many of those guys do it because mom says, well, first round draft pick defensive back out of LSU, I'm your mother, you got to take care of me first, right? But he knows that even though his mom was there, she was steady niggas every night. Yelling at him, right? Talking, you owe me, niggas ain't, your baby, your daddy ain't. Didn't pay attention to him until he got into college. Oh, now you see her in the stands with the jersey on. Oh, that's my boy. Yeah, you're his mother, you are not his mom. Don't get me wrong, man. For every Wanda Durant, I guess, there's 12 Gloria Jameses, man. People sit there and characterize, Gloria James had the foresight and the wherewithal to let LeBron be raised by another. No. Gloria James couldn't or wouldn't handle her growing son. So she made what at the time was the right decision. She didn't make that decision for LeBron. She made that decision for Gloria James. LeBron loves his mother, does not respect her. You can tell. That's how this goes, man. If your mother has to use the mom card, she wasn't a good mom.